Temperature gun is a upcoming tier 3 arsenal tech that is replacing the Savalan laser. Once you research it, it can be made at a security tech fab for a decent price, 20 steel, 5 glass, 5 plastic, 5 gold, or at an EMAG proto lathe, which is probably where you're going to end up seeing a lot of it in normal rounds. However, I feel like the primary place you're going to see this is in War Ops, because this is a gun that will absolutely slaughter nukies. The temperature gun is first and foremost a disabler styled laser gun, meaning it shoots like laser bullets instead of hit scan laser beams, so it can't shoot through glass or anything like that. It does 10 heat or 10 cold depending on the mode. It can swap between hot and cold. It only has 10 shots total and a awful fire rate of 1 per second, so the raw damage is terrible. However, this gun either freezes your internal temperature or heats you up your internal temperature. So when you're going to shoot somebody with it, every single species in the game except lizard should be shot with heat in order to kill. Cold can slow down, but it doesn't do as much damage to these species, except lizard, where it will slow the lizards, it will slow them down and kill them faster than heat. So that one's an easy one to explain. Heat, however, though, also has the benefit of ashing targets, or possibly the negative. I don't know if ashing people is a strict benefit unless it's your kill target or something. But this thing can be rather devastating. It doesn't have the fastest time to kill. You're not going to win a gunfight, but you can pretty much ensure that your target is going to have a really hard time surviving the gunfight. It's a very slow but insidious killer. So again, as mentioned, every species except lizard has a high heat tolerance, but moths, for example, take way more heat damage, so they're really susceptible to heat, where every other species is pretty even against it. Diana do take more heat, but it's kind of negligible from testing that I've done. And lizards, they get destroyed by cold, and they will suffer the slowdown of the cold. Everyone suffers a slowdown of the cold, but they'll suffer it quicker. So just quickly, I'll shoot this lizard with like 3 freezing bolts. And if we examine their health, we'll notice that their core temperature has decreased significantly down to negative 50 Celsius, well past their damage threshold. Even with only 3 shots, yeah, we only did 10 damage per hit, but they're taking incrementally like cold damage over time because their internal temperature is low. You can also see that their movement speed modifier is practically permanently lowered, and now that they've gotten hurt, on top of the fact they're cold, they're moving at a snail's pace. So there is a lot of combat potential here. Even shooting a species that is decent against cold, like humans, you can notice that once they start taking the damage, like 3 cold shots immediately slows you to a crawl. And the temperature gun is even better against targets that are wearing like insulated clothing, like hard suits. I don't know how good it is against like coats and stuff. I didn't test this for a long time, but they're not even taking cold damage, but they're so cold, they're frozen, they're moving at a snail's pace. And this works against people like Nuki, so you may not kill them, but 3 shots will make them very easy to kill for the rest of the crew. This is easily one of the best guns in the game. And it's cool because it's a good gun, not necessarily because it kills well. It puts you in a really bad state of taking a lot of damage over time, or with cold, the benefit is that you're going to be moving really slowly because of it. And just to showcase how nasty this gun is against moths, 4 shots is a absolute death sentence, even on a naked moth like this. They will crit very, very quickly, almost by the time I scan them. You can see we put their temperature to over 110 Celsius, and they are crit just from 4 shots. Now we're going to do some insulated testing, and we'll even do something like the Elite Hard Suit, which is normally really good against temperatures. As previously mentioned, those who are insulated suffer significantly more against temperature guns. I'm going to shoot each one of these baseline species with 5 shots each of heat, so 5 seconds is enough to land these hits. And we're going to take a quick look at their overall health once I am done shooting them with the 5 shots each. Since you only have 10 shots, I have to spawn in more temperature guns, but I think that's pretty apparent for testing that I don't have the ammo to increase this. Otherwise, you could also just recharge these normally in a normal recharger, which just for completionist sake, you buy a recharger, toss it in, it charges. It normally would charge, but the dev map sucks and has no power here. As we can see, they are dropping in pretty uniform fashion. The moth is absolutely brutalized on temperature, 170 Celsius, and that's me checking them quite a while later. Human is dying slower, but they are indeed dying, and this heat will kill them because they can't shed off the temperature as well due to the fact that they're insulated. And the lizard, after 5 heat shots, is taking damage, but it's going to crit them, but they have more time to fix their temperature, like shed off the suit, take temperature fixing drugs. So it's going to be interesting in War Ops. You might want to consider making drugs that can stabilize your temperature. So there's again another interesting nuance here. But we can see even with 5 shots, all of them will crit. The moth crits really quick. The baseline species that are neutral against heat will still crit pretty quick, not as quick as the moth. And lizards, you still probably want to shoot them with cold. Just because these are the outliers, I'll rejuvenate them real quick, grab the temperature gun, and shoot them with freezing bolts, 5 of them, just for consistency. And we'll see just how much that damages them. So they're already slow to a crawl because, well, it's freezing. Negative 133 Celsius. The cold damage still seems to be slow. I guess just because you take less cold damage in general. And I don't know, I haven't looked at the damage thresholds of all the species. It's irrelevant. I'm not this isn't the biggest technical deep dive of all time. You can't see these numbers in any ways in game while you're shooting them. You just kind of have to go off feel. But the benefit is now, this person's movement speed is going to be abysmal. Let's look at it. 1.215 sprint speed. Let me just take over them. Let's see how fast they're moving. Imagine if they had a duffel. This is as fast as they can move. If they were in a juggernaut with a duffel, they might as well just have their legs chopped off. That's really it. It's an incredibly good gun, very versatile, but low ammo count, not good direct damage, and you must land multiple shots for it to have effect, so you need good accuracy. It's kind of like a disabler, though. You need good accuracy for it to be effective, but it has awful fire rate. Anyways, I expect to see these decimating already the decimated nukies. Declaring War Ops, you're going to have to make some very creative drugs to deal with this. You need to have ways of regulating temperature. I mean, there's no guarantee the crew is going to be able to mass produce these, but if you get your hands on this as a syndicate and you have a moth target, in 5 seconds, they're going to be ash. I mean, how close is the elite suit person to ashing with only 5 shots? I mean, they're getting there, which is disturbing for how little time that took. Anyways, cool gun. I can't wait to see it used in game, and thank you for watching.